product details chat. This is really interesting because with a marketplace e-commerce platform, you're probably going to have a lot of interaction that buyers and sellers would optimally have. And the question is, how are you going to have an opinionated approach to governing that, or really encouraging the best behaviors so that the buyers and sellers get an optimal output on both ends? Now, this is probably one of the most critical aspects of a marketplace e-commerce platform is this governance. It's this opinionated decision-making around how to guide both buyer and seller so they have a successful interaction. One of the key aspects of this is the ability for them to talk and interact and have some, again, opinion about how that occurs. So here you can see we're on a product detail page, and this chat has detailed information about the item that the buyer, the potential buyer, is interested in reviewing with the seller. So whenever they actually send this chat, they're going to send details about the product embedded into the chat. So this helps the seller to understand exactly what they're asking their questions about. And the other thing that we can do here is we can show a reminder to both the buyer and the seller about some of the summary information of that product. Now, we also have a user dashboard where there's buyer and seller interaction can occur as well. So you can see here that this is a message hub view, and this is showing someone who made a request for a particular product. And this is now the seller side of things, and they're actually seeing the request come through, and they have the ability to type a response. And now this is really interesting in general with chat because we can allow buyers and sellers, when they're both online, to interact with each other directly and see that the other party is responding in real time, just like you would typically expect with a chat type of a tool. Now, the other thing that's interesting is this can also be omni-channel. So if the seller has a mobile application that they've downloaded as part of your marketplace e-commerce platform, or some other form of notification they want to receive, it can include text messaging. They can then respond inline within that mobile application or text messaging or email and give a response pretty immediately to the buyer. This can be something that you provide a feedback loop around so that the buyer and seller can interact quickly, and the buyer can get to a point where they can go ahead, accept a quote, and check out. And this is really, really powerful because ultimately, if you can get a very short timeline around your buyer and seller interactions and giving the buyer what they're interested in quickly, this is going to dramatically improve your experience of both your buyers and your sellers. And so you want to think about how you can have a very strong notification system to drive this behavior. Your seller isn't always going to be available to be online. So how are you allowing them to engage with the different mediums of notification so that they can get immediate access, possibly have a distribution list or essentially a round robin type of approach within their organization so that different folks can manage the communication and chat within their marketplace seller account. Similarly for buyers, we want to give them options so that they can receive a notification right away whenever a chat comes in from a seller. So this is just a very high level overview of the chat side of things. One of the other things that I think is really powerful is as the chat is going, we can also interject valuable resources to both the buyer and the seller. For example, we can take common best practice responses and provide them to the seller so they can select those and then modify them to suit their tone and their style of response. Same thing for the buyer. We can recommend a sort of checklist whenever you're interacting with the seller of things to at least think about asking the seller so you have your bases covered and you have a good understanding about the fulfillment, customs and duties, maybe a quality level validation. Will you send me additional pictures? Basically going into any nuances and details that you think are important within your specific industry, especially around how the buyer and seller should optimally interact. Now, we hope that this is helpful. There are a lot of iterations that you may see depending on your industry. That's why we provided complementary resources that we're going to talk about next. And I want to wish you all the best on your journey ahead with marketplace e-commerce. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video on marketplace e-commerce. In this particular edition, we went into quite a bit of detail. However, we want you to know that we have complimentary resources that you can download for free that give you a summary and a cheat sheet on key aspects of marketplace e-commerce. In particular, we go into quite a bit of detail around a checklist. It can be really helpful when upfront planning for a marketplace e-commerce project. We also have go live steps and optimization steps around various different aspects of running the marketplace, making it self-service, setting up the governance rules, optimizing for organic SEO, performance, security tuning, and really the list goes on. We certainly encourage you to take a look at those links in the description. And as always, if you would like to, we encourage you to go to town on that like button. Certainly feel free to subscribe so you can get notifications about additional videos like this. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.